Well, a busy little segment coming up. Let's get straight into it. Kel Richards joins us now from Sydney. And it's that time of the year. We nudge to December and we get the words of the year, Kel. We've got both the Australian words and then we've also got the international ones out of the US and then a whole lot of also-rans. Take us through it all.
OK, well, Teal has been chosen. Chose it, but the Australian National Dictionary Centre, the people who put out the Australian Oxford Dictionary, they chose it as well, both for the same reason, that colour appeared ubiquitously in the publicity put out by the so-called independents, all running on the same policy and all getting money from the same source and all having exactly the same looking publicity material. It was a very strange coincidence for the independents to be able to do that. But the colour they chose for their publicity was teal. As a colour name, goes back to 1923 and comes from a water bird, a little water bird called the teal, which has been around for 600 odd years because it's got a bit of that greenish blue colour on its head and wings. I think it's a good choice for three reasons. It's a big one because it's big news. It's new and it's Australian. It's only used here. Gaslighting is chosen by the American Merriam-Webster company. They chose it from the title of a 1944 movie starring Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman, in which he tries to convince her she's going nuts. But it's broadened out a bit so that basically now, if anyone is trying to deceive you for their own advantage, that's now called gaslighting. The Webster people look at America, that's their territory, and they looked at American politics and thought a whole lot of gaslighting is going on and the word is being used a lot. So they chose that particular one. Do you want me to run through some of the also-ran, some of the ones that nearly made it?
Let's do that. Let's run through some of those and then get on to the mailbag.
OK, fairly quickly, there are things like oligarch because of the Putin story. That means ruled by a small group. Omicron, 15th letter of the Greek alphabet chosen for COVID. A whole lot of those things. Raid is interesting because of the raid on Donald Trump's property at Mar-a-Lago. Raid is an old word which is Scottish. It's the Scottish equivalent of road. So if someone is making an incursion and inroad, it was called a raid in Scotland, now been used all over the place. There's the bloke who's got AI who says that his computer is sentient. No, it's not. The word sentient comes from Latin, means able to feel. You pour boiling water over an AI computer, it's not going to say ouch, it can't feel. Cancel culture, we know. The alphabet, we know. It's a bunch of people who don't really belong together, but they're put together in the alphabet. Loamy, it was just a word that turned up in Wordle, and Wordle words are dominating all over the place. So that gives us an overview of what's happening in part of the words of the year stuff. Can I mention the Oxford at this stage?
Yeah, look, leave me go straight to the mailbag because I want to get this one in from Marg on the Sunshine Coast because she's got a good question. Centred on or centred around? What's right?
We've been taught centred on for years and years, and I've now decided it's wrong. I looked at the Oxford definition of centre, and the centre, they said, it's the point around which a circle or sphere is described. Now, if that's the definition, I think centred around is perfectly OK, and I've changed my mind. I used to say centred on was the only correct one. Sorry, you can now use either centred on or centred around. Both of them make sense. Both of them are OK. Forget what your teacher told you about that.
Now, lots of the media get this one wrong, and Glenda from Callum Vale in Queensland wants some clarification. Amoral versus immoral.
OK, immoral, so taking it from the bottom, immoral means violating moral standards. Amoral means having no moral standards. So there's a clear distinction between them. The I word, breaking all the moral standards. The A word, having no moral standards. So there you are. They divide up pretty easily.
Couldn't be clearer, Kel. See you next week.
Talk to you then.
Head to ozwords.com.au, my Instagram page too. Leave us your words. We'll get to them before the end of the year.